This court's going to call cause number F2111053. This is in the 279th District Court of Jefferson County, Texas, and it's in the interest of, is it Sabeda?
Yes.
Sabeda and Eder Espinoza.
Yes, sir.
Miss Brittany Vasquez, please raise your right hand. Brittany Vasquez, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. You can put your hand down. Miss Vasquez, that used to be your name. Now your name is Castillo.
Yes, sir.
Good enough. Thank you, ma'am. Miss Overstreet, you handling this case for state?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let's check some service. Court's going to find that Mr. Eder Espinoza was the person who served a citation in this case on September the 14th, 2022. That citation was returned on the same date on September the 14th, 2022. Has he filed an answer?
No, Your Honor.
Court's going to find that Mr. Espinoza received notice of this hearing on January the 17th. That notice was sent to the same address for which he was served. He's not here. The notice does have all the information he needed to have had to have been here. You can call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call Miss Castillo. Can you state your full name, please?
Brittany Renee Castillo.
And you used to be known as Brittany Renee Vasquez. Is that
Yes,
correct?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And you and Eder Espinoza have 2 children together?
Yes, ma'am.
And there were some prior orders in this case. One where he had been ordered to pay you child support. And then another one where it modified because he was incarcerated. And in that order, there was a judgment. And then he was not ordered to pay any child support or medical support at that time. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd like to ask the court to take judicial notice of the court's file in the controlling order.
The court will take judicial notice of its own file.
At this time, Your Honor, I'd like to ask the court to enter into evidence the pay records in this case.
Ms. Castillo, I've just placed on the record on the screen for you to see a copy of the pay record between you and Mr. Espinoza. Is it okay if I take a look at this pay record?
Yes, sir.
Next Exhibit A is admitted into evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ma'am, has Mr. Espinoza ever paid you any money for child support or medical support that did not come to you through the state disbursement unit?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now we're showing in these pay records that as of December 31st, 2022, he was in arrears in the amount of $10,609.46. And medical, he was behind $2,678.70. We're going to ask the court today for a judgment on those amounts. Do you understand?
Okay.
And we're also going to ask the court to order him to pay something monthly towards those arrears. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, the last order, he was ordered not to pay any child support or medical support currently because he was incarcerated. And has he been released from incarceration?
He's been released since August of 2018.
Okay. And as far as you know, he's not incarcerated, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, how are your children covered for medical insurance?
My husband pays for it.
And do you know how much it costs for the children to be covered by your husband's insurance?
Yes. For them too, it's about $157.
Is that a month?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that's through your husband's job?
Yes, ma'am.
And that 157 a month is just to add those two children, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, do you know if he also has dental insurance on them?
That covers medical, vision, and dental.
Okay, all with that one cost?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now, do you know if Mr. Espinosa has any other children under the age of 18?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and do you have any personal knowledge of whether or not Mr. Espinosa is working anywhere?
He's been working since he got out of prison. And then I believe after last year, he purposely quit his job. When we were scheduled a meeting for support.
Okay,
And he worked up until maybe a month for that meeting, and then he quit his job, and I believe he's just been doing cash jobs to avoid payment.
okay. Do you have any personal knowledge of whether he's doing cash jobs?
Just from what I see.
Okay, what type of work does he typically do?
Construction and landscaping.
Out like at the plants, or
Yeah,
where does he do the
so
construction?
his last job was in the refineries.
Okay, and do you have any personal knowledge what he made when he was at the refinery?
He was making about $21 an hour.
And you said he also does landscaping. Is that something he's doing now?
I'm not really sure what he's doing now. He's been in hiding mode.
Okay, so and as far as you know, he could still be working construction.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, he worked a pretty good couple of months, and then when he found out the child support was coming, the date, he quit his job.
Okay, and did he tell you he quit his job because of the child support?
So before he went to prison and he was on child support, this is something regular that he does.
Okay. Does he typically work at least 40 hours a week?
Yes, ma'am.
Does he have any other dependents?
No, ma'am.
Children under the age of 18 besides the ones he has with y'all?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Don't I have nothing further?
Call your next witness.
I have no further witnesses.
State rest.
Yes, Your Honor.
What you asking me to do, Miss Overstreet?
I think she put up on enough evidence to show that he's deliberately underemployed, and I'm asking you to find that he can work 40 hours a week and make $21 an hour.
Okay. Good luck collecting it.
We did send discovery, but he didn't answer, so.
I mean, he's pro se, Miss Overstreet. They're never going to answer the pro ses are never going to answer your discovery. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Castillo, is there anything else you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
No, sir, that's pretty much it.
We'll find the court has jurisdiction. The court's going to find there has been a material substantial change of circumstance. I'll order Ms. Castillo to maintain the health insurance through the second source that she has. Mr. Espinoza is now out of prison and able to pay child support. His child support is going to be $730 per month beginning February the 1st, 2023. Good luck collecting it, Miss Castillo. I mean,
It's okay.
I see you shaking your head that you know that you're okay with the number. I'm telling you that looking at this pay record, he's just going to get $1,000 further behind in child support every month, and they're never going to be able to collect it.
Yeah, well, my husband and I both work.
That's okay, Miss Castillo.
Okay.
$150 in medical support to Miss Castillo for that. Judgment of $10,609.46, plus judgment for medical of $2,669.84. The child support will be paid back at a rate of $100 a month. The medical at $30 a month. All payments beginning February the 1st. Court costs by July 31st of 2023. Anything further in this case, Miss Overstreet?
No. Do you care how I split up the 150 between the medical and the dental?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Miss Castillo, they're going to send me an order, okay?
Okay.
And as long as it matches what I said here today, I'm going to sign it, get it back to them, and then they're going to make a copy of it and they're going to send it to you. This court's going to call cause number C2411499. Now, this is in the 379th District Court of Jefferson County, Texas, and it's in the interest of Dana and Emily Isbell. Miss Billy Isbell, would you raise your right hand, please? You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You can put your hand down. All right. This appears to be an original petition filed by the state in June.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let's check some service. Like you served him in the Smith County Jail, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor. Excuse me.
The court's going to find that on September the 20th of 2022, Mr. Isbell was personally served with citation as per the laws of the state of Texas for an incarcerated individual. That citation was returned on file with the Jefferson County District Clerk's Office on, looks like October the 10th of 2022. Has he filed an answer?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Well, let's see if he got notice of the hearing. When did he get out of jail?
That I don't know, Your Honor. I had not seen this case before we
understand.
started. And I had
I'm
just,
notorious
I
for
had just,
asking all the hard questions, Miss Overstreet.
I know, I had
Miss
just
Isbell, have
asked
you
somebody
seen
to,
or talked to Mr.
sorry.
Isbell?
I have briefly talked to him about my son. This was about a week ago. He has been out probably, I want to say a little after Christmas. He's been out. He's living in a halfway house in Beaumont. And I actually could find his phone number if you do need it.
No, I don't need his phone number. I need the state to provide me proof that they sent him notice of the Zoom hearing.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the notice that they sent was sent to the Smith County Jail.
Oh,
But you
Right.
say that he probably just got out of jail sometime between Christmas and the first part of the year?
yes, sir.
okay,
I believe.
ma'am-
Hold on, Miss Overstreet.
sorry, I'm sorry.
I believe that the state of Texas did its due diligence and sent notice to the address for which he was served. Miss Overstreet, has Mr. Isbell made any contact with the AG's office to update y'all on his address?
But,
Just check.
I don't,
Just check.
I'm
your
looking.
screen, see if-
I don't see anything, and we've been trying to call him to tell him about the hearing, and his phone was disconnected. I looked at the core screen. Let me look at the CASD. No, I don't see that he's tried to contact us at all.
He's got notice. You can go forward.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Mhm.
Ms. Isbell, would you state your name?
Billy Dana Isbell.
And you are the mother of Dana Alicia Isabel and Emily Nicole Isabel.
Yes.
Now, are you currently married to William Isabel?
Yes.
What year did y'all get married?
2003.
Okay, so both of these children were born after y'all were married,
Yes.
and you're currently still married.
Yes. Hopefully
Okay.
not too long.
And
Sorry.
now you currently live in Jefferson County,
Yes.
and what county is he currently living in?
Jefferson County.
Okay. Now,
Beaumont.
do you have any safety concerns or issues with your address being in the court order?
No, not really. He has anger issues, so I just try to stay away from him as much as possible.
Okay. Now, I know he had been incarcerated, and you said he was very recently released. How long was he incarcerated?
I want to say 6 months, maybe. I mean, he's been off and on. He before this last time he got out, he was incarcerated for like 3 years, I want to say.
Okay. So when he's not incarcerated, is he a good dad? Is he involved in the kids' lives?
Not really. And I mean, sometimes he tries to be, but my daughters, they're 16 and 17 now, and I feel like they have a choice to where they want to go if they want to be around them and everything, and they just don't want to do anything. And I do my best. I don't talk about their dad bad in front of them, anything like that. So,
Okay. Has he, since he's been out, has he tried to contact him at all, or have him come spend the night or anything like that?
No, he's spoken to my son, but I mean, I know that's not about him right now, but he talks to my son sometimes. Other than that,
Okay.
the girls know he does have their phone numbers.
Okay. And the court is probably going to do some type of visitation. And it could be a phased in or something in the order. Do you have anything you could propose that you think would work?
I'm going to do standard. The kids are old.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, and you said for most of the last 4 years he's been incarcerated.
Yeah, most of it. Yeah.
In the times, how much? Well, let me ask you this. I may not need to ask you that question. Are you looking for any kind of back support or just support going forward?
I mean, I would like back support. I mean, it's been tough,
Okay. Well, in the last 4 years, how much time total do you think he has been out of jail?
Oh, maybe 6 months.
In that 6 months, did he help you financially at all with the children?
The only thing he did was help pay for my son's cap and gown when he graduated a year and a half ago.
Okay. And you consider that a gift?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, do you know if he's currently working anywhere?
My son, from what my son says, he's doing odd jobs here and there. So I'm not sure.
Okay.
I was told he has an ankle monitor, so he can't go too far or whatever.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Is he, as far as you know, is he capable of working?
Oh, yes.
And he's capable of working at least 40 hours and make minimum wage?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In that 6 months he was out, was he also capable of working and making?
He was working. He was working.
6 months?
Yes.
Where was he working?
I don't know the name because he was working for some guy in the west end of Beaumont as a painter.
Okay. And he didn't ever tell you how much he made while he was a painter, did he?
No,
okay.
Ma'am. Mm-hmm.
But he was making at least minimum wage.
Oh yeah, he was making decent money because he had a company truck, and all that.
Okay. Now, how are the children currently covered for insurance?
Medicaid.
Okay. And as far as you know, he doesn't have any
no
insurance
no,
available, huh? And
no.
Does he have, besides the 2 children you have with him, does he have any other children under the age of 18?
Not under the age of 18. He has one other, but he's almost 30, I think.
Okay. I think that's everything, Your Honor. I have no further witnesses.
You state rest.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Isbell, you know, you said something kind of at the start of this. There's not a whole lot I can do here, right? I mean, he was in jail for most of the time that I can even go back and hit him in child support. I mean,
Right.
by law, the only thing I'm allowed to look at is about the last 48 months, and he spent 42 of those in jail.
Yes, sir.
I can't give you child support for time period that I know he was incarcerated.
Okay.
But I'll give you child support for the 6 months. It's not going to be a lot, but at least it's something.
Yes, sir.
And because we don't know anything really about what he does or where he's working, I'm going to set his child support like somebody working at McDonald's or Walmart. Okay. Even
Okay.
though he may be working on the side somewhere making more money than that, without specifics, that's what I'm kind of limited to in regards to what I can set it at. Okay.
Okay.
If nothing else today, Mrs. Isbell, you're going to get a court order like what they're asking you for with these attorneys that you talk to so that you can get your divorce finalized. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Miss Isbell, you got any questions about this case before I make a ruling?
No, sir. I don't think so.
Court's going to find, of course, jurisdiction. The court's going to find based on the testimony of Miss Isbell, it is certainly not in the children's best interest to name the parties as joint managed conservators. Miss Isbell will be the sole managed conservator. Mr. Isbell will be a possessory conservator. I am going to give Mr. Isbell standard possession, but the age of the children is going to have some dictates in regards to what he's going to be able to exercise. It sounds like even when he was out for that short 6 month period, he really wasn't that involved. So, you know, that's just going to be the ruling. I'll order Miss Isbell to maintain the health insurance that she has on the children at this time. He'll be ordered to pay child support as per the minimum wage, $280 a month in child support plus a $25 a month in cash medical. I'm going to grant 6 months worth of retroactive child support in the amount of $1,680. He's ordered to pay that back at a rate of $25 a month each and every month. So that's paid in full. No non-disclosure, and there will be a domicile restriction. Okay. Ms.
Okay.
Overstreet, does that take care of all the issues before me in regards to this case?
Court costs by July 31st, 2023, and all the child support and medical support starts February the 1st.
February 1st.
Okay, then that takes care of everything, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Miss Isbell, what's going to happen now is they're going to send me a proposed court order. If it matches what I said here today, I'm going to sign it and I'm going to get it back to them. And then they're going to make a copy of it and send it to you and to Mr. Isbell. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Miss Isbell, you're free to go. I thank you for being here.
Okay. Thank you so much.
This court's going to call cause number C241918. This is in the 317th District Court of Jefferson County, Texas, and it's in the interest of Liliana Garola. Ms. Pellissier and Mr. Garola, please raise your right hands. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can both put your hands down. All right. Who's handling this case for state?
I am.
The case has been called. You can call your first
We
one.
may possibly need, on this case, need Miss Nash.
Dolores Nash, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Put your hand down.
Your Honor, at this time, I would call Miss Pellissier.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you please state your name?
Brittany Pellichet.
Pellichet. I'll make sure to say that right. Now, we're here today to talk about your daughter, Liliana. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And who is her father?
Martin Jacob Garola.
And around the time that she was born, did you and Mr. Garola sign some paperwork at the hospital saying that he was the father?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, I would offer the acknowledgement of paternity as Exhibit A.
Ma'am, I've just placed on the record a copy of the alleged acknowledgement of paternity for Liliana. Is it okay, ma'am, if I look at this acknowledgement?
Oh, me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Garola, same question. Is it okay if I look at this acknowledgement?
Yes, sir.
Takes Exhibit A is admitted into evidence.
And how is Liliana covered for health insurance?
through Medicaid currently.
And are you requesting back child support or child support to start from here forward?
Back child support.
Now, in the last 4 years, have you and Mr. Garola lived together with Liliana?
No, ma'am.
And in the last 4 years, has Mr. Garola given you any support for Liliana?
Very, very seldom.
What do you think is the total amount that he gave you in the last 4 years?
I would say no more than 800 at the most that I've received.
Do you know if Mr. Garola has any other minor children?
Yes, ma'am.
And does he?
Yes, ma'am. He's got 5 children. Sorry, 4 minor children.
4 other minor children other than Liliana?
Yes, none on child support, except for oldest. I think he just made an adult though.
So you think there's only still 3?
Yes, he only has 3 children. No, I'm sorry. I just remembered the youngest one besides my daughter was adopted. So he only has 2 minor children. They live with his father.
Okay. But you said he's not ordered to pay child support to his dad?
No.
Okay. Does he visit with Liliana?
I think the last time he seen her was for her birthday in 2001.
2020?
Yes, I think it's been a while.
So it's been around 2 years? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, does Liliana know who he is?
No, ma'am.
And do you think it would be in her best interest to have some visitations, build up visitations, such as some supervised and then some unsupervised for a short time before she goes for a whole weekend?
I'm requesting supervised, all supervised.
And why is that?
Well, I'm having a lot of trouble trusting that she's going to be safe in care of him.
And what is that based on?
Drinking and driving with children in the car, for one. That's where he's at for. Just drug usage, things like that I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about.
And you say what he's at for? What do you mean by that?
He's in jail, Ms. Brownzito.
Oh, okay.
For drinking and driving with his daughter in the car.
No, that's not
Okay.
right.
Oh, Mr.
Well-
Garola, we'll get to you. I'll give you a chance to say your piece, okay? Go ahead. Ask a question, Ms. Brownzito.
Do you have any safety concerns for yourself with putting your address in the court order?
Address in the court order?
Yes, ma'am.
What does that mean? I'm sorry.
That your address would be in the court order?
Oh, yes. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
You have a problem with that?
Yes,
So-
I don't want my
okay.
address shown.
And can you tell the court what your problem with that is?
I just don't trust that I'm safe. I don't trust that I'm safe.
What is that based on?
There's more to it. It's just recent things that he's been getting in trouble for. I'm just scared that for my safety.
Fellas here, in the last 2 years, has there been any history of domestic violence between you and Mr. Garola?
No,
Has he made any verbal threats to you by phone, by email in the last 2 years?
not towards me, no.
Okay. See, in the laws of this state, ma'am, are very simple. When I'm doing a court order regarding children, you are required to have your address in the court order. The exemption for that is if there is a history of family violence within the last 2 years. There is no such history of that in this case. So I am required by law to put your address in the court order. Okay.
Okay.
So we can't dance around that subject. You just have to come out and ask him, you know, is there family violence? If there is, I need you to tell me what it was. If there isn't, then there has to be a history of domestic threats. You know what domestic threat is, right? You know, where he threatens you by phone, or he threatens you by email, or he threatens you by text.
Yeah, no, not in the last 2 years. We haven't really had much communication. So,
So you see, then based on that, I'm required by law to put your address in the court order, because every court order in the state of Texas revolving children has to have the addresses of the parents. Go ahead, Ms. Brown Zito, you can move on.
Yes, Your Honor. I would pass this witness, Your Honor.
Okay, call your next witness.
I would call Mr. Garola. Would you please state your name for the court?
Martin Jacob Garola.
And you are currently incarcerated?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have any length of time that you know of how long you think you'll be there?
I signed the 31st for 6 months.
Okay. So 6 more months, or have you already?
Well, I have 6 months and then I have to go to Galveston County.
Okay. So you still have other things to take care of in Galveston County?
Yes, ma'am.
But the case that you have there is 6 months?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you get any credit for that, or?
We're trying to shoot for our back time, so it'll be 2 more months.
Okay.
Come February 8th, I will have 2 more months left.
But then you're going to have to go over to Galveston.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you anticipate being there for a long period of time, or do you think that's something, do you have any idea?
I have no idea, ma'am.
Okay. Is it a felony you're facing or a misdemeanor?
It's a felony.
Okay. And do you have 2 other children, minor children, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
But you're not a court ordered to pay child support on those 2 children?
No, ma'am.
Your Honor, I pass this witness.
Call your next witness.
I have no further witnesses.
So, Mr. Garola, you're currently in the Polk County Jail.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
That's what your answer said.
Excuse me?
That's what your answer that you submitted to the district clerk's office said. You were in the Polk County Jail.
Yes, sir.
And when you went to jail in Polk County, what did they charge you with?
Well, this is a case that I've been fighting for 3 years, but it was a
I didn't ask you what you were fighting, Mr. Garola. I asked you what they charged you.
DWI with child under 15.
All right. So you were charged with a DWI with a minor in the car.
Yes.
And
That's what I was charged with.
did you make a deal with the district attorney's office through your attorney, or did you go to trial? What happened to the case?
From beginning?
No. Did you make a plea deal?
Not yet.
So how do you know you're going to be in jail for 6 more months?
Well, my attorney come and I go sign on January 31st. So yes, it was a plea deal.
So the charge is still pending against you.
Yes.
You haven't pled out to that case yet.
No, sir.
Okay. You can't tell me the facts. Your attorney's not here. And so I don't want to know about the charge that's pending against you in Polk County. Okay. All right. You said that you have a felony pending against you in Galveston County.
Yes, sir.
What is that charge?
Unlawful possession of firearm by felon.
Okay. All right. So you have a prior felony in your background.
Yes, sir.
All right. What's that felony that was in your background that you've been convicted of?
And 10 years ago, it was unlawful. No, 15 years ago, uncontrolled substance.
Okay. So how long have you been in the Polk County Jail?
Since October 25th.
Were you in jail anywhere before that?
Brazoria County, October 8th.
And before that?
No, not since 10 and a half years.
All right. So up until October of 2022, you were out scot-free.
Yes, yes, sir.
And you have other children, but you're not currently under a court order to pay child support for those children.
Yes, sir.
Anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Brittany, tell me your last name again so I don't mispronounce it.
It's Pelichet.
Pelichet. Miss Pelichet, there was one question that didn't get asked of you that I have to ask. This acknowledgement of paternity that's been admitted into evidence, when you and Mr. Garola signed that, y'all were at the same address. Is that right?
Yes.
How long after that document was signed did you and Mr. Garola split up?
Probably a year and a few months after.
No. Anything further from the state?
Honor.
All right. Mr. Garola, is there anything else you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
Other than no, sir.
Huh? Ma'am, is there anything else about this case you think I need to know before I make a ruling?
Yes, sir. Do you mind me bringing up one of the charges that he did not disgrace this?
Here's your problem, ma'am. I'm not going to give him visitation rights. And there's a real simple reason why. Not because I don't think he could or could not be a good dad. He can't exercise them. All right. He's in jail. He's going to be in jail for at least 6 months. And then he's going to go to Galveston, where he faces charges for a felon in possession of a firearm, which means he could be doing several more months on top of that. So if I give him visitation rights, he can't exercise them. Right. I mean,
Yes, sir.
I'm assuming based on what I've heard so far, you're not going to hot foot the kid into a car and take the child to Polk County so she can visit with her dad, right?
I've made attempts, but
I know. I mean, you're not court order required to do that, man. I mean,
Yes.
no judge, even after today, no judge in the right mind would order you to put the child in a car and take the child to a county jail to visit him, but we wouldn't do that. So
okay.
he can't exercise the visits even if I give them to him. So I'm not going to give him any visitation rights.
Then I won't have anything else to say. Thank you.
Court's going to find the court has jurisdiction. The court's going to find based on the testimony of the parties. This is in the child's best interest to not name the parties as joint managing. Ms. Pelichet is going to be the sole managed conservator. Mr. Garola will be a possessory conservator. I'm going to make the finding that Mr. Garola is currently incarcerated. He's going to be incarcerated for at least the next 180 days. And therefore no visitation will be awarded at this time. Child support will be set at 0. Medical support will be set at 0 due to the fact that he's incarcerated. Now, Ms. Pelichet asked for retroactive child support. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to grant some retroactive child support. Retroactive child support in the amount of $2,500 That'll be paid back at a rate of $30 a month. But I mean, I'm gonna order it paid back, but obviously Mr. Grohl is not gonna be able to pay it until he's released from jail. So 2,500 retro. Court cost by July 31st. No domicile restriction, and you can't have non-disclosure, Ms. Brown-Zito. You gotta have some evidence. And I understand what the mother's saying, but if you don't have any evidence of non-disclosure, you can't get it. So no non-disclosure. And no domicile restriction. Obviously, he's not a resident of Jefferson County. Anything further, Ms. Brown-Zito?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so what's gonna happen now is Ms. Brown-Zito's office is gonna send me a court order as long as it matches what I said. I'm gonna sign it and get it back to her. And then she's gonna make a copy of it and send it to each of you. Now, basically all I did today was put a Band-Aid on the situation. Because when Mr. Garola gets out of prison or gets out of jail and they bring this case back to me, I am going to set visitation. It's going to happen. It may be a severely restricted supervised situation where Mr. Garola is going to have to reprove himself to be a father, but he's going to get visitation rights for a very simple reason, because the law of this state requires that I give it to him. Okay. And I want you to know that, ma'am, just in case there's some other action that you're going to take, you better start moving on it, because when he gets out, that agency is going to file a lawsuit with me to make him pay child support. And I'm going to set a support order so he has to pay it, because he's already ordered to pay you some, but I'm also required to give him visitation rights as per law. Okay. All right. I wish you both the best of luck. You're both free to go. It's a bad situation, but it is what we've got. So we just have to make the best of it that we can.
Thank you.
Thank you.